I literally just drove over 2,000 kilometers in our BMW M3 Touring. I know all of you guys love the car, we love the car as well. But first of all, welcome back to another This Satin Crew video, and today it's all about a new car. Well, potentially. The question is, do we keep our BMW M3 Touring or should we swap it out for the new BMW M5 Touring, because that obviously just got released during Car Week. Let's say the new BMW M5 is a bit of a meme car. I think we can kind of put some memes in here because of the weight of the car, which I'm, to be honest, not too sure about. I don't like the looks of the normal M5, and I think the weight is a big point. But as we know by now, a lot of new cars are super heavy, but they still drive amazingly well. But now it's time to head over to the BMW website, which you can see right here on my laptop now, and have a quick look at the brand new M5 Touring. First of all, you see this little graphic here jumping around on the car. I'm most interested in configuring the car, and that's what we're probably going to start with. Well, actually, let's talk about the facts first of all. So we got 727 horsepower, 3.6 seconds 0 to 100, a Vmax of 250 kilometers an hour. Electrical reach and 67 kilometers, which I'm not a big fan of. The hybrid system does make it quite heavy, and one really interesting thing I find is, for example, AMG with the GT63 and the GT63S. If you just get the 63, you don't have a hybrid system, but with the S you do. So I think it would be a great option for a manufacturer like BMW to do like an option of a non-hybrid version and a hybrid version for the people who want the more power and the, let's say, better fuel consumption. I think that could really change a lot, especially weight-wise and sales-wise, because all the people I speak to are not fans of the car simply because of the hybrid system. So maybe that's something to look into, but who am I to judge? No one really. Here we can see a beautiful picture of the back of the M5. Obviously, it's the twin-turbo V8, 4-liter, great engine. We all know it, we all love it. But it is time to actually configure it and to have the first proper look at the car itself. So when I saw the car for the first time, I was not a fan at all, because if you literally just put it right in front of you just like that, you see a 1 Series with a very ugly grille in my opinion, especially this part here, which you can see, it's like a kind of like a plastic lip. It looks the ones which you have like on the side windows for wind noises when you have your window open. Obviously the radar stuff. So the front I'm not a big fan of, but if you move the car just like that and it gets a bit more edgy, I like it. It's not too bad. I'm not a fan of the lights, but I'm also not a fan of the new facelift lights on the M3 and on the M4. Side profile is nice, it is a Touring. I like Tourings a lot, so I think that looks decent. Just looks really long and quite big. Not a fan of the door handles, to be honest. Prefer the older style, just like on the 991 or 992. Prefer the 991 ones. And then we go to the back. So straight from the back, not a fan of the car again. I think there's too many elements which were carried from the iX M60 onto that car. But we all need to keep in mind that the main, let's say, area of sale for BMW will be Asia, or like what they're aiming for. That's why they do the big grills. But yeah, if you look at it from the side and you see the elements, just like here, that cutout and all that kind of stuff, I really like it a lot. You can see they took some elements from the M2 onto the M5 on how they kind of shape the body itself. There's been a lot of influencers already who looked at the M5 in real life and like kind of gave their opinion on it. And a lot of stuff was positive. So I'm quite curious to see if they were just paid to say so or if it's actually good, because I really want to drive it. I really want to see it in real life. But for now, we need to find out if we can spec the car in a way that we would actually like it. So I see the car's displayed in Isle of Man green, which is quite a nice color, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. White, obviously, also not the biggest fan, because I think this plastic just looks a bit odd, the shape here. It looks like there's a rain light missing. Then we got gray, which is decent, to be fair. Red just doesn't suit the car in my opinion, especially with that stupid E outlet right there. Marina Bay Blue, quite a nice color, also not a fan for this car. That gray, also not a fan. Also not a fan. And we got frozen deep gray, which does help the car a lot, to be honest. I think some of the frozen paints actually make the BMWs look a bit cheaper than they are. But I think on this one it actually works kind of well. But we're definitely going to opt for the carbon black metallic. Actually, no, we're not, because that looks blue. Okay, we're gonna take the sapphire black one. That's a lot better already. That actually looks quite decent, I have to say. And I think if you do some satin PPF and all that kind of stuff, and all the lines of the car come out a bit more, I think we should be able to make it a bit more aggressive, because like this, obviously it looks quite tame. And then we go down to the rims. We have 3 different options we can choose from. These ones I do like quite a lot. I think if they would have made an option for just fully black ones, it could be really cool, but maybe that comes with the M Performance parts or something like that. Then we got this set right here, which for me kind of just looks like a winter tire set, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. But we can also opt for the all black ones, which I think are the nicest. I would have loved if BMW did the M3 Touring wheels on the M5 Touring. I think that would have done a lot for the car, because I think the ratio of body to wheels does look a bit odd. I find the wheels look really small. So I think the most important thing to do when you get the cars to get a suspension, get it lower and maybe go up an inch or 2 to like 22s or 23s, just to make it look a bit better. But I think like that and all black everything, it's decent. Just kind of like when I move it around quicker like that, sometimes I have a feeling I'm seeing like a Skoda Octavia. Let's move on to the interior, which is obviously really nice. BMW has done a lot over the years in the interiors, finally, because I think, especially with like the F80s and all that kind of stuff, the interiors were always the part which looked extremely cheap. But now with the facelift and the new M3, M4, M2, they're getting into the right direction, which is nice. So I really have to say hats off to BMW, did something great on it, especially the infotainment system, on how everything is laid out, it's perfect. The only negative point I really have about the infotainment, which I experienced also on the 2,000 kilometers I just did in the M3 Touring, is that the system likes to shut down. So basically you're driving, everything goes black. Not a fan of it, spoke to BMW about it. They're saying it's a software thing. I just find it extremely annoying when you're on a longer road trip and you can't access your Apple CarPlay, your navigation or anything like that. Nothing works. But here we can see the brand new steering wheel as well. Really like the form of it, quite nice. All of here looks very organized and clean. That kind of ambient light I'm not too sure about, especially here where you have the climate controls. Well, it looks like climate controls. I think that will age really fast, and I don't think it's gonna age in a great way, but we'll find out about that. Let's check out black with red first of all, merino. So obviously it's quite bold to kind of have everything like this with the split up design and all that kind of stuff. The issue for me with this color is it looks more like orangey than actually red, because it's actually the first choice I wanted to get on our M3 Touring. Then opted for the black because I just didn't think it looked proper. We can also have a look at the all black quickly, which is nice. That's decent, just clean and simple. Would love if you could get the bucket seats in it. I'm not sure, maybe in the future you can, because obviously this is just the beginning of the configurator. We'll find out. But what I really want to get is this one actually, the Silverstone. Also an option which I actually thought about getting for the Touring. So we're actually going to choose this for now, because I think a bit of light kind of helps the interior a bit, makes everything a bit brighter, looks bigger and a bit more luxurious, because at the end of the day, this is an M5, which is a luxurious car. Then we have options for the interior accents, which right now is in a dark silver. We got carbon fiber and then kind of like an aluminium structure thingy. Let's check it out. And the aluminium, okay, that's that, not a fan at all. I like the black on it, but we're definitely gonna go for carbon fiber here. That looks really good. The only thing I really don't like is that these parts stay silver, and on the steering wheel as well. I think it would be really cool to get an option, which might come in the future again, to get that stuff carbon fiber as well, especially like the speakers, just black them out. Everything which is in the car, just black everything out. Because if that was in carbon fiber or black, it would look so much better, or like a dark chrome. So let's see what they actually do. But just visually speaking, this would actually be my configuration for the car. All black everything on the outside. Again, it doesn't mean that we're not going to do color. We could obviously wrap the car in a color and try different things out. But as a normal base, I think black is always the best way to go. You can even turn the lights off quickly to have a look at it in the dark, which I think actually helps the car quite a lot. So not a fan of the front. Side is good, back is decent, but really got to see in real life. That's what it's all about, I find. Interior, again, taking it with the silver. But let's see what else we have here. Obviously here you can see a little video clip explaining the V8 with the hybrid system, which is quite interesting and performance-wise definitely makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised by the power output, because I thought they would go for like 900 horsepower or something, because with the hybrid you can obviously do a lot, especially with the high weight the car's carrying. But it's always quite cool to see. And again, I'm not 100% against hybrid. I'm just not a fan of the way. I think the way technology is developing and all that kind of stuff, it's really cool. But just not the biggest fan of it myself. We're pushing 1,000 Newton meter in the car, which is crazy. That's a lot. That really is a lot, but just to put it into perspective, some of the older AMGs, the 65s, were already doing 1,000 Newton meters, and that's like 10, 15 years ago, if I'm not wrong. Got the M1 button, the M2 button, shifters looking proper good. It says if you get the M Sport exhaust, you have an exhilarating sound, which I'm not sure about because of OPF and stuff, but we'll find out. And then here, a little clip of actually seeing the car in motion. So just like that, obviously, I think that's CGI, if I'm not wrong. It looks decent when it's rolling. It really does. But I'm scared for the car, and I'm not sure how people are actually going to order them, if BMW actually sells a lot or not, but we'll find out about that as well. So I think the most important thing for us right now is to actually have a look at the car in real life. I want to do it anyways, but I want to know from you guys if you want to check the car out with us. So if you want to, type it down into the comments and we'll have a look together. See if the M5 Touring could potentially replace the M3 Touring, because having both of them just doesn't make sense, especially with our, let's say, wagon obsession we have at the moment with the RS6 Legacy Edition, E63S and the M3 Touring. It wouldn't really make sense to add on an M5 Touring, so something would have to go to kind of justify a purchase for the new M5. But yeah, we'll find out. For now, I would say thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked the spec. Make sure to share, subscribe, follow. Subscribe and follow is a good combination, I think, because it's the same thing. Press the bell button and we'll see each other next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.